Oh, shit. Wrong button. Alright. Hopefully we do get an invite here. Hoping we do. Perfect. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Hopefully we get in here. Please, 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 please. Please, 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 please. Thank goodness. Okay, can we... Alright, so, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Well, I'll start once I'm able to get in. It says session ending. I can't quite spectate yet. But what we do have is the season finale here for Division 2. Wow. Qualifying, they're in the qualifying results screen at the moment. Still can't quite get into spectate at the moment. Boy, am I happy to be here. There was a very heavy snowstorm. Not long ago, and we were in the middle of driving in it, and somehow we got through, and we got here in time at least for the grand finale of this 11th Midwest F1 season. And now it's allowing me to spectate. Hard recording starting now. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the final round of this 11th Midwest F1 season. Hot spot on the call. I have missed the qualifying session. Unfortunately, I was stuck in a bit of a snow squall on my way home from coaching my basketball team. We are here now in Bahrain for the final round of the season. And what a final round we have for you. We are only... It is only... hang on a minute. Let me text Brian Moser here. Going to be beginning the formation lap here very shortly. We have a 5-point gap between the top two and a 6-point gap between the top three. Mac at 3:17 leading into tonight. Mitch Burns in second at 3:12 and Travis Scott's at 3:11. All three of those drivers are in play for the championship tonight. Man, and let me tell you something, those three drivers have been on good rolls, all respectively. As far as the Constructors' Championship is concerned, it looks as if McLaren are going to be taking the top spot tonight, but Alpine and Ferrari, not all that far behind. We got a good battle there going between Haas and Alfa Romeo as well. But I'm just going to go ping this in my other leagues really quick. Man, I am so glad to be here. It's not even funny. Suddenly the snow started falling, and well, I'm here thankfully. My front-wheel drive car made it through somehow, and here we are. Goodness me. There's not many times I'm afraid driving. I've been in quite a snowstorm or two in my day, but I was more afraid I wasn't going to be here on time. Bahrain being one of my favorite tracks on schedule. Not only that, but, the real-life F1 season coming up in a couple of weeks here, as well as preseason testing. Tonight was the dual races for NASCAR, which unfortunately didn't quite get an opportunity to see. However, so this is really the beginning of the motorsport racing season, and it is on its way in. We're getting to the business end of the football competitions as far as in the European football. And then we've got NASCAR F1 coming in. I believe actually this weekend is the 12 Hours of Bathurst as well. And it looks as if, oh, we're starting now. Sorry about that. I forgot there's no formation lap in Division 2. 5 lights are on. And for the final time this season, they are away. Ayahuasca does get away best off the line. Reimer in second as they make their way to the first corner. Who's going to get out ahead? It looks as if Ayahuasca does have the advantage into the corner. But as they go behind, Mack and Reimer side by side. Championship leader at the moment gets away well. He starts second. Yellow flag at the back. It looks as if it's Knuckles who's gone off. We have a 3-car accident back there. It's Cake Thomas, Knuckles, and Macaroni all off at the back as they make their way now through turn 4. Ayahuasca has the lead. Max second, Reimer third, DB DeBest fourth, Slayer Eyes fifth. Crucially, second place in the championship, Mitch Burns in P6. He needs to outscore Mac by 6 points tonight, and at the moment, it's not looking too good for him. A lot of racing left, but a lot of work to be done. Kate Thomas off at the back once more. Ayahuasca will lead them now through turns 9 and 10. Goodness me, the game caught me off guard there. I forgot we didn't do formation lap here in Division 2, but we are on track now. Ayahuasca on the softs, lap 14 to 19 is your predicted strategy for the medium tires to the hard tires. Ayahuasca will presumably need to stop before that as he's on those soft tires, as well as DB DeBest, as well as Slayerized. Mitch Burns taking the mediums. The other driver in this championship scenario, I believe, is that Travis Scott, currently P7. He is also on the medium tires. Ayahuasca leads him down the backstretch now towards turns 14, and at the moment he has a 7.5 of a gap lead. Back to Mac in second place, but Mac looks as if he's holding on well. Bit of oversteer there. It looks as if he's held on, but he's lost an additional 0.2 of a second as they complete the first circuit of this Grand Prix. 0.9 of a second in closing here. More importantly, Mitch Burns, 0.5 of a second is Slayerized here. Slayerized and DB DeBest ahead, both on the soft tires. Mitch Burns needs to keep it clean. Crucially as well, championship third place at the moment of Travis Scott in behind Mitch Burns by 0.7 of a second. But for the time being, it is Ayahuasca out in front by over a second over Mac. Reimer in third, who I don't think had a terrible start, did get overtaken around the outside from Mac, which was a very good overtake in fairness to him. But Reimer has at least stayed in position here to remain relevant in this fight for the lead. Behind him, however, DB DeBest starting to close in into that McLaren. The McLarens have had a very good year. I believe they can close up the championship tonight. They're going to need, well, they need to both finish, is pretty much what I'm coming to the conclusion of. We do have the Aston Martin of Slayerized wide out of turn 10. Is he going to be under any pressure from Mitch Burns behind? It's 0.4 of a second in closing, but not quite. What isn't closing is the battle for the lead of the Grand Prix. Ayahuasca has now extended it to a 1.5 seconds over championship leader of Mac. So the first lap, we had the small incident there coming out of turn 2, and then we stayed green from then on out. And that, as well as Kate Thomas out of turn 4, but other than that, it doesn't appear Kate Thomas has really hit anything worth worrying about there. He's still on track at least. He's not up close to the pack at the moment, but for his sake, it doesn't appear that he's had to replace a front wing, and he's at the very least able to continue on here, although being 10 seconds behind. We'll wait and see if he comes in now, and it doesn't look like he will. DRS activated here, the third lap of the Grand Prix. Mac does not have it. Who did have it to Mac was that of Reimer and DB DeBest as well. As we have a yellow flag at the back, the Red Bull of P. Gonzalez off at the Mazepin corner, and I believe, well, the car might be beached there, has to be said. Now, in this scenario, you are allowed to reset to track. He's going to have to wait to do it safely. Will he do it now? He does have the ability to do it, and there he goes. Yes, and that is a textbook display of doing it correctly is P. Gonzalez. It was a tough situation for him. Thankfully, he was able to get that car reset in a good manner. Very nicely done. Which honestly, I'm gonna be quite honest, I do enjoy how we have that rule now. Before, no resets to track whatsoever. At that point, I'm glad that rule was changed. Travis Scott here within 0.5 of a second of championship second place Mitch Burns. For the time being, Mitch Burns does not appear to be closing in on Slayerized. I would be thinking that at some point, those soft tires were going to start falling off. It does not appear to be the case at the moment as we're about to begin the fourth lap of the Grand Prix. As they come out of the final corner, the closest battle on track is 0.3 of a second. It's actually between the pair of Haas drivers there, side by side, coming out of the final corner, turn 15. DRS is activated here for Brian Mosser. He will overtake his teammate of Ray, and at the very least, they've been able to manage to swap around those cars without any sort of conundrum there. Here's Reimer down to the inside on Mac. And I tell you what, this may be a very big overtake here if Reimer's able to get ahead and stay ahead. They will be side by side, and Reimer does get ahead by the time they get to turn 5 and into the downhill section. As Kate Thomas, unfortunately for him, does retire from the session. My next question is this: does DB DeBest have enough on those soft tires to make something happen to get around Mac and put him further back in the pack here. Oh, Mac's gone wide. Mac's gone deary wide out of turn 10, and this may be the opening that Mitch Burns and Travis Scott need. He's only getting back on track now. Despite going off track, he did extend as best as he could to get as much momentum back in his favor, but now he has lost not only the spot to Reimer early in the lap, he's lost it to DB DeBest on pure error as well, as now Slayerized and Mitch Burns. It is in view for them. Remember, it is a 5-point gap. They need something here. Mitch Burns will need to, at the very least, outscore by 6 points to win the title. Look at the point structure as they currently stand now. P4 to P6, that's 28 to 24. So there's a 4-point gap between those spots. So Mitch Burns will, at the very least, need to finish 3 spots ahead of Mac in the final standings. At the final conclusion of this race. Travis Scott will need to do at least 4 of those, 4 positions at the end of the race in order to claim that championship, as well as outscore Mitch Burns. It is very much in play here, but this is the 2nd season in a row, I believe, where we've seen a championship finale end in Bahrain and have it be very, very exciting. I do remember as it looks as if Gonzalez has gone off there towards the back. Thankfully, it looks as if he's not hit anything severe enough to bring out a safety car. DB DeBest here within 3.5 tenths of Reimer. Yep, that was correct. Stop second-guessing myself here. Quick look at the positions gained and lost. DB DeBest up 2. Mac and Slayerized down 1 each. The top 2 have stayed the same. 6 and 7 have stayed the same. That's Mitch Burns and Travis Scott, as well as Grego in the Aston Martin has stayed the same. Roney's down 4. Knuckles down 3. As it looks as if P. Gonzalez is going to be calling it a day here, most likely. For the time being, though, however, it looks as if Ayahuasca is pulling away. Mac is not necessarily reeling in the 2 cars ahead, but with the aid of DRS, he may get an opportunity to at least look at Reimer, assuming that DB DeBest has enough to overtake him here. DRS is activated for the McLaren. He's going to probably have to look to the inside. No, Reimer blocks low. DB DeBest is going to have to go the long way around on his now 6-lap-old soft tires. Side by side, the 2 Mercedes-powered machines through the first 3 corners. This is allowing Mac to get in it, but this is dangerously close for Mac. Those 2 cars really held him up a little bit, but I think Slayerized may have made a mistake a little bit further back. He's off about 1.5 seconds now from whoever comes out behind in this battle. And Mac, for the time being, still side by side with DB DeBest. Championship implications at play. Then DB DeBest backs off. I think that may have been the right thing to do at the end of the day. DB DeBest is not fighting for the Drivers' Championship. He is, however, fighting for the Constructors' Championship. The 2 McLaren drivers need a good result today. I believe they have at least 50 points to the good entering tonight's Grand Prix. The current standing, McLaren 606, Alpine 519. Do the math on that. McLaren pretty much just need to finish. As a matter of fact, they've already claimed it last week as I read now. Yes, they did. They claimed it in Singapore. However, second place still up for grabs between the Alpines and the Ferraris. So that could be interesting. How stupid am I reading into this and creating all this drama, then suddenly the McLarens have already clinched the championship? Ha! Silly me. As we go on here, Travis Scott, I think, is kind of doing the right thing. He's not going too gutsy. He's just following in Mitch Burns' trail. We've now lost P. Gonzalez, unfortunately, as it is, into the pit lane. As there goes the yellow flags down the straight here for the car in the pit lane. We do have Slayerized 0.5 of a second away, but Mitch Burns is closing fast. Mitch Burns may have a look down to the inside. Yeah, he was really going to have to send it there. That would have been a poor decision. Mitch Burns stays P6, but he's going to have a double dosage of DRS here as he exits turn 3. DRS activated in the wake of the Aston Martin ahead, who is looking to try to find something on DB DeBest, but at the moment that McLaren still has plenty of pace, and Slayerized on the soft tires as well. These soft tires are lasting much, much longer than I initially anticipated. Thank you all for joining on this season finale of the 11th season of the Midwest F1 League. It's been a hell of a ride so far, and we have one hell of a schedule coming up for you in Season 12. Mac here, 0.5 of a second. Back to Reimer. for the second spot. Big lockup there from Reimer, but unfortunately for Mack, that does not hinder the Mercedes efforts here. It's 0.5 of a second. It is slightly closing. Mitch Burns, I think Slayer Eyes may have made a mistake there. He was way off to the inside coming out of turn 10. That will promote Mitch Burns and Travis Scott up a position each. And now it is just the McLaren. The Drivers' Championship. The top two, I don't want to say sign it slightly out the window, but Mack here really doing a good job. He's still on Reimer. Tell you what I think. Oh, that's a big slide from Mack, and he's held on again. And that is about the second or third time today we have seen the back end of that Alpine get away violently from Mack. Thankfully, he was able to hold on there. We do not need something catastrophic happening here. What I will say is this: Reimer has now clawed that 1.5 gap down to 0.6 of a second here. The top three now within a 1.5 seconds as they make their way out of turn 3 up towards turn 4. Mitch Burns is looking to overtake DB DeBest down to the inside, and he's going to get that one relatively, I don't want to say easily, but DB DeBest strikes back to the inside. Oh, Mitch Burns slides! He gets into the McLaren! Well, Travis Scott's going to get around him as well. Now, from initial lookings, I don't know. Could Mitch Burns face a penalty for that? It's not going to be in-game. It's going to have to be in the steward reports later in the night, if that's the case. There didn't look to be any malintent. Maybe did Mitch Burns just to get a little bit get away from him coming out of turn 4 on the curb on the outside. And that was all it took to get it in the side of DB DeBest. Mitch Burns had to fight for that position. DB DeBest did well to try to switch back down to the inside. Man, I tell you what, that is a whole extra wrench thrown into the plans here of Mitch Burns. As whether he likes it or not, that is now in the back of his head that he will have to think about for the rest of the night. Reimer now within 0.2 of a second on Ayahuasca. Ayahuasca, for the time being, coming into the race throughout this first couple of laps here, has definitely been pulling away, but now, for the first time this Grand Prix, is under pressure from the Mercedes behind, down to the inside, and like Vanilla Ice, he's under pressure. Well, that's actually not the right joke to make there, because that was Queen's version of the song, but Reimer, cold as ice there, has made it happen. Very nicely done. Although Vanilla Ice did steal that beat from at least 3 people, but that's all right. Anyways, Ayahuasca now, he's not, well, he does have DRS. It's a little surprising. Oh, that's right, because Reimer was ahead at the detection zone going in towards turn 1. That would be the reason why Ayahuasca had DRS going up towards turn 4 just then. That didn't initially compute with me, but yeah, that is true. What we have now is Slayer Eyes under pressure from DB DeBest. Mitch Burns is about 2 seconds behind, about 2 seconds behind that of Mack and the Alpine. What I will say is this: we have seen a couple of times already that Alpine start to kind of get away from him. Could that mean we see a mistake that results in Mitch Burns taking the 3rd spot? I don't know. Pit stops are going to be in about 5 to 6 laps time for those on the medium tires. I would assume the softs are going to be in before that. Down the backstretch they go. Ayahuasca within half a second here. I'm actually a little surprised that the Williams is keeping this good a pace despite being on the soft tires. Those soft tires, as fast as they are not the preferred compound anywhere past about 4 laps into their lifespan. So to see the pace here from Ayahuasca is really good to see. What we do have now is Mack about 1.5 seconds behind the top 2. We do have DB DeBest trying to make a move on Slayer Eyes here. I'm quite thankful that neither of the drivers involved in that scuffle did come out with any damage. What we did not want was a championship implication moment then, and for the time being, it looks as if everybody's gotten away okay. DB DeBest may not be happy with that. Now, it was coming off of that corner there, out of turn 4, with Mitch Burns on the outside after DB DeBest trying to switch back to the inside, and it looked to me initially that Mitch Burns' car got out of shape. Mitch Burns was going to have nowhere to go except to ride along the curb, and these curbs are rather slippery. Whether DB DeBest tries to file a steward report or not is going to be up to him. But either way, Mitch Burns in the back of his head has to kind of think about that now. Whether he wants to or not, those thoughts do prey on a driver during the race, and here they are in a championship scenario as well. The closest I ever got to a championship was Season 7, where me and my Mercedes teammate at the time went into the Shanghai final round, and unfortunately we were 1 point to the good, taking the Constructors' Championship, and then at the end of the race I was taken out by a Renault, or an Alpine at the time, in towards that first corner, and that was, I think we ended up losing the Constructors' Championship by a solid point there. And that was rather heartbreaking, but what I do know is this: that sort of thing preys on the mind of a driver. What we do have now is Slayerized and DB DeBest on the way in, both of them choosing the soft tires initially. It's going to be hard tires for DB DeBest and hards for Slayerized as well. So the soft to hard strategy is very much in play here. Whether the drivers on the mediums actually continue to get away well is going to be the question, because for the time being, either Reimer's playing it safe or Ayahuasca is really in position here, and he's really doing well on those softs. At the moment, we just simply haven't seen any mistakes from the Williams driver, so good looks for him, but the other two that did start on the softs have come and gone into the pit lane. Travis Scott's within a second here of Mitch Burns. Travis Scott's only 1 point behind Mitch Burns coming into tonight. Could this be his night? They're both on equal strategies, both choosing the medium tires at the start. 1.2 seconds the gap. We'll come back to that momentarily, but for now it is the battle for the lead. It's Ayahuasca within half a second of Reimer here. How Ayahuasca is pumping this much pace out of the soft tires, I'll never understand. But what I do understand is this: Reimer is going to be under pressure here unless Ayahuasca does decide to pit. We'll see what he does. Ayahuasca using every inch of the racing surface as he can. The Williams is going to stay on track. DRS activated here, 4.5 tenths of a second, and trying to close. Does it happen? He's looking to the inside. Can he retake the lead here? Travis Scott, a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Third in the championship, and now he's got a whole other obstacle to try to get over here. Goodness me, that is, well, slightly heartbreaking to say the least. I do believe with a good result, he will at least have promotion to Division 1 pretty much set in stone. He's got a good little gap over the car in 4th place, which I believe is one of the McLarens, actually. But either way, heartbreaking there for Travis Scott. That is going to be another obstacle for him. Really appreciate y'all joining here tonight so far. We are 12 and a half laps into this race so far. Reimer has the lead. He's not exactly taken, well, yeah, we took that lead. He didn't start with it. What we have now is this: Mac, the championship leader. He's done really well so far today. He's gotten in a couple hairy positions as far as with drivers ahead of them. Oh, that was a big slide that time from Ayahuasca. Did you see that? He was way out wide going through turn 11. That car shot to the left side of the circuit, and thankfully he was able to hold on, but Mac getting closer to this battle. He need not any drama here. He has to keep it clean. The win is in sight for him, but more importantly, the championship is his goal. He doesn't need to win this race. He just needs to finish ahead of Mitch Burns. Mitch Burns needs to finish out 3 positions better than that of Mac in order to take the championship, or that plus the fastest lap. Well, that'd be 5 there. A lot of math into it. Usually I'll have a computer program up and running these points as we go. Unfortunately, again, I did get home very late. It was snowing on my way home, and, well, I missed the qualifying session. Oh, is that something at the back? Yes, it is. Look at this. Well, I believe what we've just had was this. Ray, I think, was trying to get into the pit lane and was on the outside of Travis Scott, or perhaps was it the other way around, but either way, the two drivers nearly had a collision coming out of the final corner as Ray wanted to get into the pit lane. Well, that one got very scary there. 0.3 of a second here for Mac. He is in position here. He's breathing down the neck of Ayahuasca. Remember, the Williams ahead is on the soft tires. How long those soft tires last, I don't know, but he's taking them. He's trying to take them a distance equal with the medium tires, which if he does that, he will probably have a pace advantage here. I think out and out, Ayahuasca might be quicker than Reimer at the moment. I don't know. I think Reimer is quicker than Mack. But Ayahuasca, I would bet, is the quickest driver on track, and we have an Aston Martin around. It's not Slayerized, it is Grego, and that is coming out of turn 7. I believe he's gone into the gravel on the outside. Unfortunate for him, but the track stays green. Ayahuasca stays out another lap. I would assume that those on the medium tires will be in shortly. Ayahuasca defends low. He almost had a look at Reimer. Mack trying to find his way in there. He'll try left side, nothing there. Reimer leads them out of turn 3. Big slide from Mack. How did he hold on to that? That's about the 3rd or 4th time now we've seen that car almost get away from Mack. And goodness me, that is, I tell you what, I got my watch on right now, my heart rate currently at 102. I'm about a 70 resting. This is very intense. As they make their way out of turn 8 in towards 9 and 10. This is where Mack made the mistake earlier on. This is why he lost position to at least Ayahuasca. Or no, it was that of, was it DB the Best as well who lost a couple of spots? Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head, but also keep in mind we have the battle for to avoid relegation as well. The bottom 3 in the championship at the moment. Hightower in the Alfa Romeo is not here tonight. We do have Knuckles in the AlphaTauri who only has 93 points on the board. I don't know if he's been full-time. If not, he may get a save. And Wild Poros P19. Reimer, as he's on his way in, I want to point this out. Reimer currently sitting P18 in the standings. He is the 4th driver away from being relegated in Division 3. Reimer did join very late in this season. He probably will be able to be saved and kept in Division 2. Whether that happens or not, we'll have to wait and see. I want to point this out as well. If by some incredible reason, as Mitch Burns is on his way into the pits as well, if by some incredible reason we do get a tie between the top 2 in the standings, it is worth pointing out Mack has the tiebreaker at the moment with the most wins. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 wins so far this season. Mitch Burns took round 2 in Imola, and that's about it for him. The 4th driver in this equation is Anbu Mason. Now, he does have the ability to leapfrog Travis Scott tonight. Whether he does that or not, it's going to be a lot of work. Travis Scott sitting at 311 coming in tonight. Anbu Mason, 275. So whether or not Anbu Mason takes that 3rd spot or not, Travis Scott is going to need one hell of a poor result here, and I believe that 5-second penalty not going to help him. And I'm just beginning of the second half of the hard recording here. Mack and Ayahuasca down the back straight now, making their way. Out of the final corner now, and they're both on their way. And no, Mack stays out, and Mack stayed out of the final moment there. I think what Mack was going through his head there, I think he believed that he was going to get caught up with Ayahuasca having to break for the pit entry, and that was going to cost him time. It was a late decision, and it's going to be softs to the mediums here for Ayahuasca. Bold call. Reimer on the hards, DB the Best on the hards. I believe everybody who's pit has gone to the hard tires except for that of Ayahuasca, who has chosen the mediums. Reimer, well, I tell you what, we nearly had about a 4-car battle there for position as they all came out of the pit lane near about the same time. Reimer takes the 3rd spot. He has cleared Ayahuasca by not only himself, but his teammate of Ronnie as well. Ronnie, who I believe started on those hard tires. Yes, he has. He's up to P4. He will need to stop. Halfway through this Grand Prix. Most importantly, the 2 drivers currently battling for the championship are P8 and P9. Travis Scott with that 5-second penalty. The championship leader, who has yet to pit, is P1. And I'm assuming he may come in this time. The rest of the grid behind, as the 2 Williams invert positions here. As the rest of the field behind makes their way into turn 11, Mack is making his way through 14 and 15 now. If he's going to pit, this has to be the lap. He cannot afford to lose any more time, and into the pit lane he goes. Oh, he might be quick. Wow, and I think he only just got the car back down enough there. Let's see what Mac decides to do here. I'm assuming the hard tires. No, it's going to be the softs. Decisions. Mac, well, I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but he has chosen the soft tires. That, my friend, to quote Dodgeball, bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it plays out for him. That will demote him to P5 for the time being, although being on the soft tires, he's going to get easily... Oh, sorry, that's Travis Scott making his way past Slayer Eyes just then. I thought that was the other way around. I thought that was Mac getting that position, but no. So 0.6 of a second for Ayahuasca. Sorry, half a second now, back to Reimer. This will be for the eventual lead of the Grand Prix. Altered Fiber has yet to stop. Remember, he started the Grand Prix on those hard tires in which he currently resides. Mac does not want to get held up here behind DB the Best. He's going to have DRS activated here. He'll look to the inside. And I don't think DB the Best is going to challenge that one very much. At least I hope not. I'm concerned here for Mac. I really am, because that... We saw him struggling with the medium tires, and those were the preferred tires for that length of time. Of course, Ayahuasca took those softs a very long time. But Mac was struggling with that car, and I'm just wondering how quickly those soft tires get away from Mac here, and if something dramatic happens. I really hope it doesn't, believe me. I really want to see a good battle on track here. As Altered Fiber on his way in, Reimer will have the lead, but not for long. Ayahuasca down to the inside, and the Williams will be taking that spot, unless does Reimer strike back. Well, I tell you what, Reimer might have some pace here. Ayahuasca didn't get away that well out of turn 2. Reimer down the inside with DRS, and Reimer's going to hold the spot. Much to the chagrin of Ayahuasca there. He's got some pace, and for the time being, well, Reimer he struck back very well, has to be said. At the moment, Travis Scott, even if he doesn't win the championship tonight, he could secure himself promotion, which he's going to be looking for. He's got a 5-second penalty, remember that. However, the next driver in that battle for promotion is that of Anbu Mason, so promotion in Division 1, very much on the table for him. Mitch Burns, at the moment, has a lot of work to do. We're coming up on 10 laps to go here shortly. The top 3 cars within about, 0.5 of a second of each other. As Slayer Eyes getting around Travis Scott there, but here we go, the battle for the lead. Mac need not get involved in any tomfoolery now. He has to keep it clean. He has to know when to pick his battles, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. And I nearly went through an entire Kenny Rogers song right there. But Mac, I tell you what, this is a very interesting situation. Mac, with the tire strategy, has blatantly chosen to play aggressive on track. There goes Reimer, trying to defend the inside. Ayahuasca's going to have to look for the outside. On board with Mac now, as Ayahuasca will take the spot. Reimer will get DRS coming out of turn 3. As Travis Scott getting around Slayer Eyes for that 5th spot. Very nicely done. Mac, what does he do here? He's on the softs. He'll only have the advantage for now, but he has chosen for these fast tires. He needs to play aggressive here, or this medium to soft strategy is not going to work. Ayahuasca, well, I tell you what, Mac, does he slide? Yes, he does, but he locks it down. Heart rate, 115 out of a resting 70. Mac, after sliding coming out of turn 4, is now on the back foot. And we saw him, you heard me say this, he was struggling with that car on the medium tires. He's now on the softs. He's gone for the aggressive route. And it's worked out about as much as a Damar Hamlin 4th down conversion. And now, what we do see is this. Travis Scott taking 3rd. He's got the 5-second penalty to negotiate here, but his main rivals are back in P6 and P7. He could, theoretically, win this championship if all comes out to fruition. 10 laps to go. Ayahuasca down to the inside. Does Reimer lose the spot? Yes, he does. Altered Fiber with the fastest lap. Remember, that fastest lap point very much in play. Not to mention that Hard Charger up in the air as well. At the moment, it belongs to Travis Scott. Of course, he has the penalty as Reimer down to the inside. So the fastest lap and the pole position and Hard Charger all up for grabs. For the time being, Hard Charger belongs to Travis Scott. Altered Fiber has just taken fastest lap, and Ayahuasca took the pole point. So, if this championship battle is going to be solved here, it's going to have to be done on track. Within the final 10 laps of the Grand Prix now, Mitch Burns knows he's at the advantage. He has to overtake Slayerized and DB DeBest, and probably Travis Scott as well. Travis Scott is probably less of the worry at the moment, considering he has the 5-second penalty. He needs to get around DB DeBest and Mitch Burns, and Slayerized. He's on the hard tires. He will be probably, well, they're all even Stevens on tires, although he is at the best hard tires out of the rest of this battle here. Mac, I tell you what, for the time being, it is safe, but he cannot afford any more conundrums here. He can't even afford to stop anymore. He has to go to the end here. If he stops, he'll lose even more positions. Ayahuasca now down to the inside. Remember, it was a 5-point gap. Slayerized around DB DeBest. Mitch Burns in pursuit. Mitch Burns around DB DeBest. It was a 5-point gap for the time being. Mitch Burns as he gets around Slayerized as well. Reimer and Ayahuasca battling for the time being. After penalties applied, Mitch Burns takes 4th. Mac is in this battle as well, don't you forget. So 3rd, and Mac getting around Slayerized. So, for the time being, with Travis Scott's penalty, Mitch Burns to 3rd, Mac to 5th. That is only a 4-point gap. And you can see Mac now locking up there. Slayerized, I don't think, wants to really overtake and get himself involved in this championship battle here. Mac is going to have to go down the inside of DB DeBest. And now we're in a position where Mitch Burns needs to overtake Travis Scott and get himself ahead. Top 3 in the championship. 3, 2, and 1 currently 3rd, 4th, and 5th. With less than 10 laps to go. Reimer leads the field down to the final 2 corners. Down the pit straight he goes. Ayahuasca will have DRS. Mitch Burns crucially in position now to overtake Travis Scott. There he goes to the left side. And now Mitch Burns into 3rd. Remember, I believe if he gets 2nd... No, I don't. Well, it's a 2-point gap. It's 3-point gap from 1st to 2nd, and then 2 points the rest of the way down, except for 8th and 9th, where it's 22, 21, and 20, and then after that it goes down 1 by 1. So for the time being, as Ayahuasca and Reimer side by side, the battle for the lead, and Ayahuasca gets ahead. I'd like to stick around with this, but the championship implications of play. Altered Fiber around to the back, and thankfully doesn't hit anything. Yet to have a safety car or virtual safety car here. Max still on the soft tires. Round the outside of Travis Scott. Through turn 8. Does he hold on? No oversteer coming off the corner as well. Mac is now put 3rd place in the championship to rest. Can he get past Mitch Burns? Remember, Mac has already lost the car on oversteer once. He has to be careful, but he also needs to attack and stay relevant. That is the question at play. Does Travis Scott or DB DeBest have anything to strike back here? Mac on the soft tires. I'm surprised he's going to be able to go this long. At the end of the race, it's going to be, 10 laps-ish on those softs. It's not going to be pretty. What an unbelievable Grand Prix this has been so far. So many twists and turns to this season as Ray a 3-second penalty for him. Down the pit straight they go. Behind, Mitch Burns does not have DRS to anyone ahead. Currently, Mac 0.8 of a second and starting to close but the last time we saw Mac make the mistake was when he was in the wake of another car. In fact, he was in the wake of the two cars ahead of Mitch Burns at the moment. These two were battling. Mac tried to slide in behind, and he got too generous on the throttle and went around. And now as they make their way out of turn 3, up the hill in towards turn 4. Mac, for the time being, you can see again, he just had to take it so tentatively going through that corner. And how is Mac still closing in? Of course, albeit 5-lap-old soft tires are going to be better than the hards for the time being, but only for now. As you can see, another lock up there from Mac. Trying to get back on the throttle. Easy does it. Slow and steady wins the race. Even if Mitch Burns finishes ahead, Mitch Burns needs to clear Mac by 6 points. At the moment, it's only 2. For the time being, Mac remains in control of his own destiny here. He needs to make sure that he's able to hold on to the car. That is his main goal. If anything happens, if he gets a 3-second penalty, if he spins the car, if a safety car happens, he is going to be on the back foot. And that's the bottom line. 0.3 of a second now. We'll check back with that in a minute. Reimer, 7.5 tenths. He's not exactly closing in. We'll go back to the battle between first and second in the championship here. As Mitch Burns defends the inside, Mac will have DRS. Looking for the outside. In towards turn 1. No, Mitch Burns is going to slide back high. Mac trying to find the outside through turn number 1. This is crucial here. And Mac will not get it that time as they make their way through 2 and 3. Mac rides a lot of the curb to the inside, defends Mitch Burns. He slides back to the left. And now, Mac is going to try the outside. Mitch Burns gets the elbows out, tries to defend. Mac is going to try to hang it around the outside. No guts for the time being, over the curb. Still side by side between championship contenders, and Mac will get the spot. And could that be the dagger that he needed to win the championship? It very well could be. It's very much sink or swim when you get to Division 1. Some drivers make it, some drivers don't. I've seen some talented drivers go up into Division 1 and not make it out and then fall their way back through the system. Does Mac, by winning 4 races this season and winning the Drivers' Championship, does he have enough to make it in Division 1 next season? For the time being, I believe he does, but there's a lot of talented drivers on the way, as well as Ayahuasca, as well as Reimer. Mitch Burns is in there too, and for the time being, Travis Scott as well. To the line this time, 5 laps to go between Mac and a championship, between Mitch Burns in temporary heartbreak, but in long-term well-being as he can get promoted to Division 1. Mitch Burns only won the 1 race this season. It was in round 2 at Imola at September the 9th. He has remained so consistent this season, and down to the inside. They're side by side into the first corner. Still side by side here. Look at them go. Mac trying to take it so easy. Oversteer possible at any minute. It's going to be DRS in the way of the Alpine. No, as a matter of fact, what? Neither of them had it? It's a little odd. Now remember, Mac lost it coming out of turn 4. Barely hit the inside wall. I really thought that we were going to be looking at the end of days for him, but for the time being, he has gotten back ahead. He's put himself in better position. And somehow, some way, starting to ride off into the sunset here despite being on the soft tires. Well past, I would believe, their pinnacle point as well. Wow. There's not a lot of times where I'm left speechless. What I can say is this: whether they win the championship or not tonight, either of the current drivers battling for it, they have absolutely, undoubtedly earned promotion into Division 1. That part is true. They have worked their ass off all season long. Mac winning 4 races, especially in the second half of the season as well. That's when the real ones are made there. Mitch Burns only winning the 1 round, but being consistent as well. For the time being, Travis Scott keeps at least third in the championship. Anbu Mason was that driver in fourth, currently resides P11. So for the time being, it does look as if Travis Scott will get into Division 1 as well. Although he is under pressure from DB DeBest, and he does have a 5-second penalty going against him here. Out of the 10th corner they go. Ayahuasca leads. Down the, well, I say the back stretch, the middle stretch now. Whew. No, by the way, we got the Season 12 schedule announced as well, which we can go on after the race here if you haven't seen it already. Got announced on the 8th. This time by 3 laps to go for Ayahuasca and Reimer. The battle for the win, which we didn't know we needed. And for Mac to bring home a championship here if all goes his way. But for the time being, the battle for the win still up in the air here. Both drivers relatively even tires. I would assume Reimer may have the advantage now on his hards. Ayahuasca for the time being is holding good pace, but Reimer will have the advantage in these next 3 laps. Mac, despite falling off the top 2 here, has done well to at least keep the pace consistent since his spin and get ahead of Mitch Burns and Travis Scott, respectively. Through turn 10 they go. Ayahuasca, does he get away well? No, I think Reimer's actually gotten away on the inside, in towards turn 11. Does he have it? I think he just might. Yes, he does. Well, in what used to be a commonplace for overtakes, turn 11 is slightly unorthodox now. Reimer was able to do good there, and now Reimer seems as if starting to put a little bit of ground back to Ayahuasca. Not enough to be comfortable here at the line this time. We'll have 2 laps to go. DRS is still going to be in play as well. 0.2 of a second. Reimer doing well. We'll take a look at the telemetry at the moment. The top 2, look at Ayahuasca, saved up his battery 65%. That's only going to help him. Reimer down to 22. And speaking of down, Ayahuasca down to the inside, and the Williams looks as if he will take the spot. Reimer will at least have DRS coming out of turn 3 with 2 laps to go now. Oh, that was a big slide from Ayahuasca, and now Reimer to the inside, and Reimer will get the spot back. Hardly had to work for it either. Reimer got a little bit lucky there, but as my father says, luck beats skill 9 times out of 10. And it has to be said, well, that's no discredit to the skill of Reimer, but he did get lucky with that one there. Credit to both of these drivers for putting on a show. Has to be said, it's been brilliant to watch all day long. Meanwhile, Travis Scott within about a couple of tenths of DB DeBest here. Anbu Mason, I'm afraid, his bid for promotion might just be off here. Good season nonetheless. P4 is a very solid effort, has to be said. As we have a yellow flag, Travis Scott is off the pace. Yes, he is. I think he's had a bit of a slide or something coming out of turn 8. Something is wrong. Something is wrong with the AlphaTauri. Travis Scott is out of fuel. Travis Scott out of fuel with a lap and a half left to go. Anbu Mason may very well. I don't know. It's going to be close. I still don't think he's going to get promotion, but at least it's going to make it entertaining there. Travis Scott, goodness me. Final lap of the Grand Prix underway. Ayahuasca down to the inside. Does he have it? Yes, he does. Reimer will stay in pursuit. Ayahuasca's going to have to defend the outside here. He chooses not to. He chooses to stay low. That is a little bit of a bold call there. Reimer will have the advantage coming off of turn 2. He'll have DRS up the hill, out of turn 3, towards turn 4. What happens now? Does Reimer choose to go high? Ayahuasca made him think. Reimer chooses the outside. Ayahuasca defends low. For the time being, the Williams keeps the lead. Only 1 remaining DRS zone after this. It's out of turn 10. Reimer made that move happen last time round, but to credit Ayahuasca, I think there may have been a mistake as Travis Scott now falls behind Anbu Mason in the standings. Remember, it was, I believe, 311 to 275. I don't think Anbu Mason is up high enough in the standings to make it happen. And I think now, Reimer, I tell you what, Ayahuasca might just be walking away with this one. As that was, I think, Reimer's probably best chance to get away from him as Ken Knuckles takes the fastest lap. Coming out of turn 13 here, Reimer's best chance, I think, might just be over. Ayahuasca, has to be said, anytime this guy is on track, you just have to keep him in the back of your head. He won at Portugal. He will win the season finale in Bahrain. Ladies and gentlemen, look out for this guy. Reimer second, but most importantly, it is Mac, who had to fight tooth and nail tonight, is the champion of Division 2. Mitch Burns fourth, second in the championship. Great effort from him. I'm afraid, even with the mistake that Mac made tonight, it was not going to be enough. Great effort from Mitch Burns, only slightly short. And the question is now, as Travis Scott makes his way through now turn 11, only 2 cars remain on the lead lap. No, and that's not even true, because Grego has already come across the line finished here. Ray coming through. We'll have to wait and see if Travis Scott is able to keep his third place. I think he will. But what we do know is this: Ayahuasca, race winner. McLaren, Constructors Champion. And Mac, Drivers Champion in Division 2. What a race that was. What a season it has been. Mac ought to feel proud tonight. He didn't do everything right, but by God did he do enough. And he is your champion. Well, I don't know what's happening with the leaderboards at the moment, but, or the podium celebrations, I don't know what's happening. There it is. Thank goodness. Getting scary there for a second. Ayahuasca, your winner today. Reimer second, and the champion of Mac in third. After it's all said and done in Bahrain, are we not even going to get a look at the final results there? Of course, why not? That would make sense. Well, you know the important three. Ayahuasca the win, Reimer second, the champion of Mac in third. It's there and it's gone. Well, I want to say this again. It's been an absolute pleasure being along with Division 2 this season. I want to thank you sincerely for inviting me into your homes and onto your phones. In a season where I've hit over 100, entertaining, up and down, heart-pounding season is over and done with. Once again, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning along. We'll see you next time. Haha, just kidding. You thought I was done. I just had to stop the hard recording. What we have now for you is it's already been put in the chat here. Hang on just a minute. Just give me 1 second. I got to congratulate our 3 there. Well, Season 12 schedule goes like this. It's already been posted in the Discord somewhere, but I want to put it here again because it's actually a pretty neat schedule. And even this year, this season, I'm going to be sponsoring a race. So, Saudi Arabia to kick things off. Goodness me. Round 2, presented by MMR Slayerized, is going to be the Hungaro Ring. Round 3, March 21st, Australia. Round 4, sponsored as well by MMR Slayerized, is the Netherlands. The Zandvoort Circuit. That should be a fun one. After that, Japan round 4. Slayerized with another one here. The Qatar Circuit for round 6, Monza, Italy. Sponsored by Frenchie for April 18th, round 7. Round 8, Brazil, also sponsored by Slayerized. Round 9 is Miami. 10 is Belgium, sponsored by Kate Thomas. 11th is round 11 is Imola, Singapore. Round 12, sponsored by Frenchie. My round 13 of the France Circuit Paul Ricard. We haven't been there since Season 7. Second round of Season 7 is the last time we visited Circuit Paul Ricard, and I have graced us all once again. This is my first time, actually. I do want to thank Pork Chops as well. This was kind of a gift from him, was allowing me to sponsor that race. Big thanks to Pork and all he does, and as well as the Steward teams and the rest of the broadcasters as well. Nick and Mitch have done absolutely incredible this year. And then finally, to cap things off at the end of the season, June 6th, the Canadian Grand Prix, the Midwest F1 Homecoming, and then Austria, the final round of Season 12. Well, once again, thank you so much this season, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll see you in a bit.